Good evening and welcome. I am Amarachi Ubani. Tonight, it's the eve of the governorship election in Ekiti State, and INEC and security agencies say all is set for the conduct of free and fair and credible poll. Members of APC faction in Kaduna State, headed by Senators Othman Hunkuyi and Shehu Sani, finally dumped the ruling All Progressives Congress. The Supreme Court affirms election of Victor Oye as national chairman of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, says Martin Agbaso's suit lacks merit. And US President Donald Trump is confident of future trade deals with the United Kingdom in the aftermath of Brexit.
On business news tonight, Shell Petroleum Development Company lifts force majeure on Nigeria's Bonny-Light crude exports as traders await loading programs for September.
And on sports news tonight, football governing body FIFA threatens to ban Nigeria after it recognized Amaju Pinnick as duly elected Nigeria Football Federation president in spite of a court order ousting him.
And from Abuja, Edo State Police Command begins investigations into electrocution of a 13-year-old student in Benin City, the Edo State capital.
It's the eve of the crucial election in Ekiti State, and all eyes are on these states as they elect a new governor. The Independent National Electoral Commission says they're good to go. Members of the civil society organizations are already keeping a close watch on the electoral process, and security agencies say they are set. Our political correspondent, Shewaki Baloyi, reports.
In the air and on land, deployments by security agencies are clearly evident. The anticipation ahead of Saturday's election is palpable. The presence of security agents is loud and would get anyone's attention. Residents and voters are enthusiastic, but they pray that the government ensure a fair ground for all.
We are just telling federal government to just let this election to be free and fair.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says its own end is well tightened and all is set for tomorrow's governorship poll.
By 7 a.m., we will be ready at the polling unit, even though the election will start by 8 a.m. and it will end by 2. I want to appeal to the political class. Do not induce our staff. I've mentioned it at several fora that we do not need your assistance when it comes to logistics. We don't need your fuel for our vehicles.
A visit to some INEC offices at the local government areas shows that the umpire has its work cut out for it.
They have brought out quite a number of innovations this time around. And based on what we've seen so far, the logistics has been particularly good.
Election observer groups have their eyes on the process. They're watching keenly and have their concerns though.
The exercise of restraint by security personnel in dealing with voters and avoidance of acts of intimidation, inappropriate use of force, and other acts capable of undermining the electoral process.
We are a bit worried because of the inflow of security agencies.
Election should not be a do or die affair. We wish to remind politicians that there will be consequences of every illegality and violation of electoral laws.
Even the international community is interested in the process. They have their fears.
In this case, we have had some questions about the numbers. I have heard all the proper assurances from the DIG. I'm very comfortable today. But as with all security operations, the proof is in the pudding. And we expect them to maintain their neutrality tomorrow.
We are counting down to the hour when the polls will open and the people of Ekiti State will elect a brand new governor. The exercise is being watched by the world and the stakes are definitely higher. Shinwa Kimaloe reporting for Channels Television News.
Let's get more now from Sheung, who will be speaking with the Deputy Inspector General in charge of operations, Habila Joshak. Sheung.
Thank you, Amara, and you're welcome to Ado Ekiti, the capital of Ekiti State. We have joining us on the NISA 10, the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of police operations, DIG Habila Joshak. Thank you so much for joining us on the NISA 10.
Thank you, viewers, and thank you for having me.
Let's begin by asking you, it's just a few hours before the election, in what has been described by observers as perhaps a militarized or over-policed exercise. What are your plans ahead of tomorrow to ensure that there won't be voter apathy or intimidation?
Okay, thank you so much. But I want to correct the impression that this election is militarized. That choice of word is in itself very, very wrong. As I speak to you, we've deployed across all boards. Everybody has taken position, except just few of them being at the polling units will be achieved in the morning. But if walking distance from the place of assignment of these individuals, these officers that we brought is achieved, we're just waiting for them to walk to their place of assignment. And that is the situation as it is now.
When people say over-militarized or militarized process, they're talking about the level of deployment. You're having almost about 10 policemen to a voter in this exercise. Don't you think that may be too much? 30,000 police, not to talk of other sister agencies.
No. The other sister agencies have given us the number of enforcement in personnel and in logistic, and we are the lead agency that have the authority to put together what they have. We are speaking for them, but the synergy is quite close, and they've realized that we need to be together. And so when we're talking about 30,000, we're talking across board the strength of the personnel that are to be deployed. Remember, you were in Anambra, we used 26,000. And with this 26,000, there were isolated cases of snatching of ballot boxes. There were some security challenges that could not be addressed as a result of inability to get the men to those places. And that has informed us of the need for the 30. 30 is nothing. We've already deployed. And today you've gone round. If you have, you would have seen that there's nowhere that is militarized. But it's unfortunate. Oftentimes people blame the police for not having enough personnel to take care of security challenges, whether it is headers, farmers, conflict or issues, and all of that. We want to be on top of our job, and we want to guarantee safety, security for everyone that is involved in this election, including the electorates, who have an opportunity to go and exercise their franchise. So when we talk about 30, it's nothing to write home about.
DIG, what is your latest assessment, especially those hot spots ahead of tomorrow?
We did what we call trade analysis. That was done a long time ago. We have those results, including other security agencies and the military, who are going to cordon off at the outer. And this has informed us of bringing the 30. The 30 is just not even enough.
So there'll be restriction of movement from what time to what time?
Restriction of movement from 6 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the evening. 6 in the morning and 6 in the evening. I have also asked electorates to familiarize themselves with offense and what we call electoral offenses on election day. They are contained in the pamphlets. You don't go as a VIP with your aides armed and in uniform. You don't dare do that.
You have not withdrawn the
we have
officials for some of the political...
This night is done. early morning. We expect all of them to document at the headquarters and remain with us in order to create a level playing ground for all to exercise their franchise.
The issues of vote buying has raised a lot of concern for a lot of watchers and observers in this election. Do you have plans to clamp down on anyone who intend to use this? Because observers have noted that it will happen tomorrow.
Of course, Chairman INEC, in some of the interactions and stakeholders meeting, has pointed it out to the police, and we saw a few of it. We knew, because people told us after the election, that there were some of those things happen in a number of ways. You were very much on ground. You see, this has to do with psychology of the people. It is unfortunate that in this era that Nigerians would want to take money for their votes. And we don't know who have made up his mind to take money for his vote.
Are you going to make
and because of that, we've made available more intelligence, more plainclothes personnel from the police and other security agencies to track some of those by just trying to know, because they don't take that money at the polling booth. They take that money in an isolated area before getting to a kilometer or half a kilometer to the polling units.
Let me ask you this very important question, and it has to do with the issues of arrest. Have you made any arrest of any political office holders in the last 24 hours?
For the police, none. We have been involved in deployment. We've been involved in, of course, like I told you, we've deployed at the entrances and the exit.
So the allegations of arrest being made?
We haven't. We haven't.
You don't have any people, any person in your custody?
I haven't made any arrests, and there's none in my custody for now.
For a lot of people who are watching you right now, preparing for tomorrow,
yes,
there are a lot of news around the world and in Nigeria. International communities are watching about this very exercise. What kind of confidence do you want to give them in terms of security?
That is why we're here. And the only responsibility that we have in the process of this election is provision of security across all boards. We will try our best. And remember, for every election, we expect to raise the bar of security. And that's why the lapses that we noticed in the election in Anambra has informed us of trying to fill the gap, bringing in these people. We have already deployed since yesterday. And I don't think anybody had complained of a congregation of police personnel trying to muzzle people, trying to militarize. That militarize is wrong. I think it's a word used to discourage police officers from performing their duties and getting an opportunity.
The DIG Abila Joshak, I must sincerely thank you for talking to us on the news at 10. And we wish you the best in your activities tomorrow.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
And that's been it with the DIG Abila Joshak in charge of operations for this election. It's back to you now, Amara, in Lagos.
Thanks a lot, Shell. Looking forward to those elections. We know you'll be our eyes and our ears on the ground. Staying with politics, a splinter group within the Kaduna State chapter of the All Progressives Congress, loyal to Senators Othman Hunkuyi and Shehu Sani, have announced their exit from the ruling party, citing lack of internal democracy and failure of governance as their reasons. The leader of the Restoration and Akida faction of the party, Tom Meyashi, says the group decided to leave the APC because the party has failed to meet up with the expectations of millions of Nigerians who voted it into power. He also says that the ruling APC is incapable of accommodating and responding to well-meaning dissent, criticisms, and demand for inclusiveness from members. Meyashi explains that the two senators did not attend the press conference because of security concerns, since they were attacked by thugs during their last two press conferences in which they addressed the state capital. In the meantime, the lawmaker representing Kaduna Central District in the National Assembly, Senator Shehu Sani, says he is yet to leave the All Progressives Congress. Senator Sani made the declaration today, hours after a splinter group loyal to him and his colleague Othman Hunkuyi in the Kaduna State APC announced their exit from the ruling party. Clarification: I'm yet to leave the Broome City FC for the Umbrella United or any other club in the Premier League, he said in a Facebook post. Discussion and consultations are ongoing, beg your pardon. If such will happen, it will be backed by a signed formal letter to the club management and a formal announcement on the side of the pitch by myself. Thank you. Both Senator Sani and Hunkuyi have criticized the affairs of the party in Kaduna State and that of the governor, Nasir El-Rufai's led administration recently. In part two, after the break, Bayelsa State Governor Seriake Dixon makes case for advocates of restructuring of Nigeria and enthronement of true federalism. Please stay with us.